Radio. Rahim with Anthony Joshua. His camera's there.
What's up?
Why don't you have a nickname yet? What are we going to put in there?
I was listening to Buffer. I was hearing Stillhammer, this, that. I was thinking, okay, what's he going to come up with? But he just said AJ. Simple is effective, so it works for me.
All right, you know what? Post-fight, I'm coming up with a nickname for you. Be ready for that.
Yes.
You know, yesterday, I was at the media workout. We've done this many times now.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw something I had never seen before. So yesterday, I saw something, and you know, when a girl breaks up with me, which is a lot, they tend to like cut their hair, change their attitude a little bit, and it's a rebirth for them. Yeah. Yesterday, you had the afro going, you're a little unkept. Yeah, I see that we're back, but it told the story about the build up to this fight in a way that I don't think you'd approached a fight before.
Yeah.
You know, you were a little ornery, you didn't do the fan thing. What was the difference yesterday?
Yeah, well, it's business now. You know, my coach has made it clear that he wants me to stay away from home, wants me to stay away from any distractions. Normally, when I come back from training camp on the weekends, I can quickly go to the barbers. The barbers is normally like a link up for the boys. I can spend hours in there, but this time it was physio, recovery, this, that, and it was all about training. And that's what that represented, is that the focus, the discipline of taken upon myself within this training camp. And it's interesting because with one side of the things, you've got Wladimir, who claims to be obsessed, and then I think on the other hand, I feel confident because of the work and the discipline that I put into preparing for this fight.
You've faced champions before, young and early in your career, but this man has held that title for 10 years plus. When you look across the ring mentally, is this the greatest challenge that you will have faced? And did you have to go someplace different to prepare for it than you've had in the past?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a definite bigger challenge than I've faced, but it's no stress because that's what my career's been about, you know. I've always been a relative novice to any competition I've entered, and I've always overcome. You know, as I said, we go back to the amateurs. In 2011, I was competing in the ABA Championships, which is to become the best in England, and then next minute I'm competing at the World Championships to become the best in the world at the Olympics, and I overcome everything. You know, after beating Dylan, I could have just gone on the British route and said, you know what, I'm enjoying this British title exposure, let me continue that route. But Charles Martin come forward, we took the challenge, and now we're here, we take the challenge. So I just know that no matter what's in front of me, I'll always find a way to overcome, and I feel confident about my ability, and that's what you have to do. You have to believe in yourself before anyone else does, and I definitely believe in myself.
They're billing this fight as the guy that wins will be carrying the heavyweight division into the next era. Does it go back to the old lion and the old ways, or does the young lion carry it forward? Do you see yourself in that role? And if so, how do you represent the heavyweight championship in bringing it into a new era? What do you do in that role?
What do I represent? I bring everyone with me. I don't sit on that throne alone. You see me yesterday, I bring up Lawrence Okoli, an up-and-coming heavyweight. I want him to shine. I want everyone to shine. Because if everyone's shining, then the whole sport moves forward. I just don't want to get it in an arm lock to myself. There's enough bread for everyone to eat, and that's what I'm trying to do, is bring boxing forward with me. So as I said, there's 1,000 million people that stand behind me that I represent, and we're just trying to reflect onto the people that look in a good light so they can kind of support us and get with us. Because they asked me, what's the biggest fear that you face in boxing? I said, people that understand really what it takes to step in the ring. Not at a championship level, even at a charity level, when you go in there and you fight, it's a complete different world and it's tough. So I just want to bring the sport up and give people opportunity that are trying to be championship fighters.
And lastly, it is a world title. There's a champion on the other side of the pond where I'm from, Deontay Wilder. You've been quoted as saying you don't feel like you ever have to fight in America. I just want you to explain that quote, and how soon do you need to unify this heavyweight title to really have grown into what people have said you have the potential to be?
Well, what I meant by not having to fight in America is that when I first started fighting, 2008-9, there was Mayweather who was killing it. He was a big-time face of boxing. So everyone was wanting to go to America, talking about America. Ricky Hatton had to go to America. So now I'm looking at it like, so how did we manage to switch positions and bring big-time boxing to the UK? And I think it's brilliant. So I'm saying, what's the rush to go to America? You know, we've had a strong grip hold on the division in different weights for so long, for a couple of years, in the UK. So that's what I'm trying to express, is that it's a nice time to be able to bring fighters outside of their comfort zone into the UK and having to compete with us here. It's amazing. So I said, because we've created that, I don't want to rush and change it. But as a champion, you have to defend your belt around the world, champion of the world. So it's no problem if I have to go to America. But for me, I'd rather compete in the UK because it's just a blessing that big time boxing is here. And people who can't afford to travel to America and Ukraine and whatnot can get in an Uber down to Wembley and come and watch a boxing match. It's crazy.
How do you avoid being stopped late, as the people have predicted?
Boxing, even though it's aggressive, and the first thing they teach you in boxing is to punch someone, you have to learn about defense and, avoiding getting hit. I just think, I honestly think Wladimir won't be able to cope with me later on in the rounds himself. I think he's got more of a chance as an older opponent to compete with a young lion like myself early on, because as the fight goes on, I don't think he'll be able to cope with a young fighter like myself who's ambitious, who's trained the way I have and strong. I'm just it sounds like I'm bigging myself up, but I'm just saying it how it is. The young good man will always beat the old good man.
Radio Rahim with Anthony Joshua, Wembley Stadium, Saturday night, facing Wladimir Klitschko, the young lion, the steel hammer, the guy who's going to have a nickname as soon as this fight is over. Radio Rahim, Anthony Joshua.